All right, let's talk higher. Let's talk lower. Let's talk Hail Marys. We're making good progress. Give us a like. We already got a decent crowd. Gosh, the crowds just gather, and we appreciate it, folks.
You guys are the best. Thanks for being here. Get those questions in, about 40 to 50 already. Love to see that. We'll get to them all. We're cruising right now.
Yeah, we are cruising.
All that mailbag, that thumbs up button would mean the world. Get us up to more people. I guess that's the one benefit when we have all these teams on buys. We just have less people to talk about, which is kind of nice. So
it is kind of nice.
Cruise on through these. That way we can get to all your questions. That's why you guys are here. But there's so many of you here. It'd be so greatly appreciated to get that thumbs up. If you like what you're hearing, not hit the thumbs down.
And help.
Comment. I don't care, but I'm happy you're here. So
and start a dummy Gmail account so you can like us and subscribe again on YouTube. We'd sure appreciate it. All right. Higher, lower, Hail Mary. Quarterbacks. Higher. Justin Fields. He of the Konami upside versus the Dolphins. QB 9 for the Wolf. 11 by the experts. Not a huge discrepancy. I definitely understand why you like him here.
Absolutely. You said Konami upside. The guy has the second most runs on the year, the first most designed runs across the last 4 weeks. So they've really started to tap into it, and especially at the red zone where he is dominant. Miami is his easiest matchup of the season so far, and leading into Detroit and Atlanta as well the next 2 weeks. So we've got a cakewalk schedule for a guy that's put up 17, 19, 24, 26, a top 12 quarterback 4 straight weeks, the quarterback 5 across those last 4 weeks. The Bears themselves, 33 and 26 points. Don't look now. They're not a terrible offense suddenly. And Justin Fields is the main reason as he gets more and more comfortable. I am more and more comfortable. I just traded Rachaad White, actually, to get Justin Fields, and I feel really good about that as my starting quarterback right now.
I bet Kristen Mann, without a question, just throwing us a couple bucks. We appreciate it. That's the second time someone's just given us a little bit of money for nothing. So thank you.
I know. Let's keep our eyes. Do you want to? So, Kristen, if you meant to ask a question,
yeah. If you throw a question in there, I'll help you out.
Yeah,
we'll answer you.
Who was the other one? It was Ward Willis.
It was Ward Willis. Well, I'm keeping an eye on Ward. And Kristen does have a question, which we'll get in a second.
Ward asked this one, actually. So we should get Ward. Oh, well, we do have that nice $10 super chat, too. You guys are fucking awesome.
He didn't ask a question. He's just making a comment.
I traded Pierce and Higgins for Barkley and Jamal Williams. I think that's a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great deal.
Barkley's the best player of the deal. I do like Higgins. I do like Pierce a lot. But, like, Jamal Williams is a 2-touchdown threat every single week, and you have Swift, so you got the handcuff, plus you got the best player in the deal. Really well done. Thank you for the support, Ward Willis, for this chat.
Salsa Contito, and we do have a question for Kristen, which we'll get in a second.
Absolutely.
What's going on, guys? Again, I'm in a full PPR league. I need to make some moves for tonight. I have Devontae Smith as my flex. Should I put him as my wide receiver 2 over Kirk and sit Kirk and put in Garrett Wilson?
Salsa Contito.
And he's throwing us another super chat right after this one. So we're going
You're the
back.
man. Thank you so much, Salsa. Generous of you. $15. Throwing out the big bucks for the boys tonight. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. So couple things here. One, I definitely have Devonta Smith over Kirk. And either way, he's a Thursday night guy. You want them in your starter spot, like the wide receiver, not the flex. So I do move Kirk to my flex spot. And that way, let's say Deion Jackson's out there in your league. You pick him up, Jonathan Taylor gets ruled out. I don't even play Christian Kirk. I play the workhorse running back coming into the game. So definitely put Smith into your lineup, put Kirk into the flex. I wouldn't put Garrett Wilson ahead of Kirk. He's facing Buffalo, the toughest matchup for wide receivers. And I just have no faith in Zach Wilson. I think they're going to get absolutely smothered. But I would definitely put Kirk into the flex. And in that way, you can see what running backs might ultimately get picked up.
He's got more to say. I also have Duvernay available that maybe I could replace him with Kirk or keep Kirk on. Also have the Washington defense over Tampa. You think that's a good move?
Whew. So that's another loaded one here. And I saw Todd Exotic ask, how do viewers reply via video chat? So we don't take those ones until we get to the mailbag, Todd, but I just commented in the call-in link. We'd love to have Todd. I wonder what Todd Exotic looks like. I've never imagined. You can also call in without your video on, too, if anybody doesn't feel comfortable but they want to talk to us. That's always okay. But to the super chats, which we always give preference for, thank you again so much, Sauce and David.
Speaking of it, David Lynn. Not even is like, get off my lawn.
I fucking love him. All right. So I actually, Duvernay and Kirk is a really interesting question. So either way, get Devonta Smith in tonight. I think he's in a good spot. He's been so solid all year. Last week, it was a little bit of a dud, but no one would be shocked to see him go 100 and a touchdown tonight. So I play Smith tonight. Do you agree with that, Smith over Kirk?
I do, although it's not it's not totally clear cut, but yes.
No, it's my 21 and 25. Like they're pretty close to each other, but I do have Smith just a little bit higher. I will say Duvernay I bumped up to 28 today. I love his spot with no Marshawn Lattimore.
I think I might like Duvernay right up there with those guys, if I'm being honest.
They use him like Deebo Samuel. He goes into the backfield. Like he's going to be their new wide receiver one, and they're going to try everything they can to get the balls in his hand. And honestly, when he's been used,
he produces, man. He really does. It's like first time we were like, oh, that's a fluke. Second time we're like, don't expect that. But he really does keep producing.
This time we're like, okay, this guy's actually fucking good. Yep. Duvernay is legit. So I would consider Duvernay over Kirk Salsa. I have Kirk a couple spots higher, but man, that's close. Now, I would definitely go Tampa over Washington defense. Tampa gets the Rams. That is a awful offensive line, like the worst offensive line in football. Versus one of the better defensive lines. I know Tampa's D has been pretty
maybe a banged up Cooper Kupp. I mean,
maybe a banged up Kupp. And the Rams in general, like to the Falcons, they gave up a pick six. They've given up the second most points to defenses, and Tampa Bay is a very opportunistic defense. I think a pick six is well within the cards. I think at least 4 to 5 sacks with that D-line matched up against that O-line. I love Tampa. They're a top 3 defense for me this week. Washington, make it a hard question. At least Washington freaking sucks, Salsa. And of course, now this week they're gonna have 8 sacks. And
I mean, this is a like trap pick right here. But yes, I'm with the Wolf. In a vacuum, I'm going Tampa over Washington every time.
And I am strongly leaning Duvernay over Kirk. Like I like Duvernay.
I would go Duvernay over Kirk. I'm not kidding. I would do it.
That Jags game is so tricky because like it could shoot out, it could go nuts, or it could be like 10-3 and just gross.
Right.
So I have no idea Jags Raiders, like how that one goes. Obviously, if it shoots out, Kirk's going to be a nice play, but they're also one of the best teams. We'll talk. I have Kirk as my lower of the week because they're very, very good against the slot. The Raiders are like the hardest team to match up for slot receivers. So the more we talk this through, Truth, I'm kind of like, give me the juice of Duvernay. I don't know.
I'm with you. I would love to like argue with you on that, but I actually agree with you for whatever it's worth. So take that for what it's worth. Last one, we were really rolling. But then we got super chatted a bunch, which we appreciate. And Kristen does have a question, so I feel like we need to answer it. Tight end, is Hawk viable or bench him for Hurst? What do you think? Standard scoring.
Ooh, it's a good one. I mean, new team, it sometimes takes a little bit to get acclimated. Plus, you're dealing with Justin Jefferson as a target hog on the other side of you. So that certainly doesn't make things any easier. I had Hawk higher, but like I have him 3 spots above the ECR, and I'm kind of like, I don't know that I like that. Hurst gets Carolina. It's a middle of the pack matchup. Nothing special, but he hasn't been great either. 2-5-4 in standard leagues. So I know you said standard settings. I think I just go for Hawk and hope we got our new toy. Let's feature him. Let's get him into the end zone. Let's get him acclimated. You see that happen so much with teams. We know Irv Smith's now out for 8 to 10 weeks.
We do see it happen, and I would also lean with your pick. I feel like it usually takes a week.
It does usually take a week, but then it also could flip on that idea. Like a team just force feeds them in the red zone to be like, welcome to Minnesota. TJ Hawkinson's here. So I'm going to go Hawkinson there. Hurst isn't giving you enough to really be viable.
I agree with you. All right, we were rolling, and that was a sidetrack, but it was good stuff.
And he gave us 2 super chats. So he asked, will Eckler play this week? I haven't seen anything that he won't. I think Keenan Allen's the one that's really questionable.
Right. And Mike Williams will not. All right.
And Mike Williams will not. But Eckler's definitely, and he's probably the best running back play of the week.
Quarterbacks, higher, lower, Hail Mary. We are now on lower. Geno Smith at Arizona, QB 12, 2 spots lower than the experts. Again, not a huge discrepancy. Why are you a tiny bit down on Geno, who has been honestly one of the best 5 or 6 fantasy quarterbacks this year?
He has for most of the year. He had a nice stretch, 20, 32, and 24 points. Looking great, but those came against Atlanta, Detroit, New Orleans, all bottom 5 for quarterback matchups. Great plays for quarterbacks, rather. Arizona, just a few weeks ago, he only put up 13 points. He's had 14 and 19 in the last couple of weeks since. So not horrible, but quarterback 19, quarterback 15, quarterback 13. Hasn't been top 12 in 3 straight weeks. They're just, with Kenneth Walker now kind of taking over that backfield, they seem to be getting more and more back to that ground and pound offense. And so I think Geno's a nice, real-life, safe, high floor, but I don't think we're hitting those 25, 30-point, maybe even 20-point days anymore. I think you're going to get a nice 14 to 15 and feel okay about it, but certainly not a locked-in QB9 as his ECR right now. He's a fringe QB1 for me, not a locked-in one.
Ward Willis says Eckler has an ab injury.
Oh.
Just putting it out there. Thank you, Ward.
Thank you, Ward. That must have been new right before we got live today.
We tend to trust Ward on these things, so keep an eye on that, folks. Hail Mary, Andy Dalton against Baltimore. I don't hate this pick, Wolf. Quarterback 18, 4 spots above the experts, only 14% rostered. The Red Rifle, we laughed about it last week, talking about saddling him up, firing him up out there. The Red Rifle, he's been okay.
He's been really good. I mean, this New Orleans offense has sustained gunslingers for years, and it's crazy to think that if Red Rifle's a gunslinger now, but 30 and 17 points in back-to-back weeks, he's damn solid, and he gets Baltimore the 8th most points allowed. 2 QBs, the best matchup.
Chris Olave is a badass, and Alvin Kamara is a badass.
Yes.
And, those are some attractive targets.
And they throw it 32, 47, and 30 times their last 3 weeks with the rifle. They're letting the rifle fire, and the rifle's putting up some pretty.
They're letting the rifle cook.
They let the rifle cook.
Let Andy cook.
Let Andy cook, baby. But yeah, I mean, I have him as a top 14 play. He's the quarterback 18 by ECR. He's only 14% rostered. I think there's like a nice there's like a Geno Smith floor, 15-ish points. And I think he has a higher – honestly, I kind of like Andy Dalton more than Geno Smith this week. Call me crazy, but I really, really like the matchup against Baltimore. He'll probably throw a pick, maybe even 2. But I bet you he throws 3 scores on that terrible banged-up secondary. I really like Andy Dalton this week.
All right, we're keeping it rolling. Watching and burning questions. Tom Brady against Stafford. Is this a loser leaves town match? Also, Herbert and Burrow without their studs in. How are they going to shake out? Just answer the first one. You don't really think it's a loser leaves town match?
I mean that in the sense I stole that term from Pardon My Take with Barstool. They label those games where if whoever loses this game, they have no more shot in the playoffs. And I kind of
I understand what you're saying. I mean, loser leaves town match. That's like pro wrestling from the '80s, where back before everybody knew it was fake, and guy would leave and all of a sudden he would lose his job, and then he'd come back wearing a mask a couple months later.
Yeah,
and it's we didn't know it was him.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear what you're saying. Do you think that the loser of this game is not going to make the playoffs?
Yes, I think whoever loses this game is done. I think the season is over for whoever loses this game.
Okay, that's awesome.
You really think somebody
here's what I think. I hear what you're saying. I think that the NFC is really bad, and if you look at the records of the teams on top of those divisions, they're not very good. So, I mean, if the Bucs were to lose, how many games out of first place in the division would they be?
2, right.
1.5, maybe? If the Rams lose, how many games out are they? 2 at the most, right?
Yeah, I get it.
So I just think there's too much that can happen here. I think they both suck. Don't get me wrong.
I think if the Rams lose, they're done. I think the Bucs can still recover. I think the Rams lose
so bad.
That division's a little more competitive, even though the Seahawks.
Remember, we thought that division was going to be amazing, except for the Seahawks, who ironically are the best team in the division. Anyway,
what is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments. Check out some more videos and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.